All right, well, I wanted to hear it for myself, and I just did. The House Budget Committee Chair, John Yarmuth, says he is very open, in fact, eager to make a move on raising taxes, not necessarily at the Ocasio-Cortez top rate of 70%, that the revenue would not be there even if you did get that, to do a lot of things the Democrats want to do, but that he does think it's high time we raise the corporate tax from 21% to 28%. He has talked in the past about maybe raising it on the wealthy. Bottom line, this is a whole new House, and there's a whole new gang in charge, and this is the kind of stuff they are talking about. Let's start talking about it ourselves with FBN AM co-host Lawrence Simonetti. We've got senior correspondent Charlie Gasparino and market watcher Joe Fahmy. Joe, that is not a surprise, what he's saying, and that he has long espoused that, and that if he got power and Democrats have power, he would push for that. The question is getting it through a Republican Senate, and that seems a non-starter, but your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a very difficult challenge with the Republican Senate. I think the biggest concern should be reducing spending rather than raising the taxes, because they want to raise taxes to cover the deficit, and I think they're better off reducing spending and focusing on that, because that would be
good. And they're going to reduce spending.
That's the better.
Neither party's been very good at that.
No, but these guys are Trump spending on steroids. I would say the one positive thing you could take from his remarks is that he wants to reduce it to 28%. Remember, it was at 32%.
Right. So in other words, we're not going back to the old rate. And of course, that was the build rate. Not everyone paid that.
Right. And so, but you have a 20% rate now, right? 20. What is it?
21.
21. Still with the deduction. So if he's taking it down to 28%, part of me is saying that that's a good thing. There are some relatively sane people that understand something about economics, because our corporate tax rate was much higher than the rest of the world. His stuff about raising the individual rate is insane, because basically a lot of people did not get a tax cut on this.
But Lauren, he did draw a distinction between just raising the individual top rate and pushing it all the way up to 70%. I want you to react to what he said about that. Take a look. And what about on the upper income? Are you looking to raise taxes on that?
You know, that's not a top priority of mine. I have no problem with having a progressive rate that goes higher for super income individuals.
Are you in that 70% camp?
Well,
the top rate is 70%.
You know, I'm fine with looking at that, but I think the most important point is there's just not enough revenue available there to make the kind of investments that I think Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez wants to make, the Green New Deal, pay for Medicare for all. There's just not enough revenue there.
All right, in other words, what he's saying is even if you tax them at 100%, you're not going to be able to pay for a lot of these grant plans.
But that's the great myth, and it's been the great myth going back to JFK, that cutting rates actually brings in the government revenue. Because you have more spending out there, people feel richer. So it's not raising rates that's going to bring in revenue for the government. I think it's cutting them.
I think we're burying the lead a little bit here. I mean, now that I've heard the whole thing that he actually said he doesn't want to raise rates on the upper earners.
He's open to it. What he's not open to is bring it up to 70.
But I think what you see here from the leadership of the Democratic Party is
they're trying to dial it back.
They're dialing the Ocasio-Cortezes, the Looney Tunes back.
What do they Joe? Are they dialing it back?
Clearly they are.
On the corporate side, don't you run into the problem of the whole reason to do this is to keep companies here and not have these reverse mergers in Ireland and all these places with more friendly corporate taxes? The whole point is to keep a lot of the manufacturing, everything here in this country.
Why couldn't you do that with a 28%? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
It's just not competitive with other countries.
Sure it is when you have all the because the
what is Ireland? It's 14.
Yeah, but the effective rate was never 32. The effective rate was always something like 25.
Well, bottom line, I think, Lauren, the message is rates. Democrats want to move up. They're not necessarily to the 70%, but they want to move up.
You have a very strong young left wing, far left wing of the new House, and that is going to push the more moderate members a little bit more to the left. But here's the thing. We had corporate tax rates and personal tax rates cut.
Right.
And we started to see the effect of all that, and then came in the trade spat with China and the like, and we saw everything
the corporate tax
down. So unfortunately, this is bad for Republicans.
All right, guys.